So you're making more money than ever before, but you don't actually feel any richer, right? If that sounds at all familiar, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to dig into the shocking gap between your income and your actual wealth.
Have you ever thought this to yourself? Or maybe heard a friend say it? It's that crazy feeling where your salary goes up, but your financial stress just doesn't go down. Yeah, on paper, everything looks great. But in reality, it feels like you're just treading water. If that hits home, you need to stick around, because that feeling is right at the heart of this whole income versus wealth puzzle.
All right, let's kick things off with what I call the six-figure illusion. This is the sneaky idea that a high income automatically means you're financially set. But you know what? The numbers tell a totally different and frankly, much more surprising story. Okay, get ready, because this slide, it pretty much flips everything we think we know on its head. Just look at person B. They make double the income of person A. And yet, after 20 years, they end up with 5 times less wealth. This proves something absolutely crucial. Your income just determines how fast you can build wealth. Your behavior, what you actually do with that money, is what determines if you will. And that right there brings us to the absolute core of what we're talking about today. We tend to throw the words income and wealth around like they're the same thing, but they're not. They are fundamentally different. And really getting that difference is the very first step to closing the gap for yourself. So picture this. Income is a flow. It's your paycheck, your salary, all the money that comes into your bank account on a regular basis. Just imagine water constantly running through a pipe. It's active. It's always in motion. That's income. Now, wealth. Wealth is totally different. It's a stock. It's the money you manage to keep and grow. It's the water that you've captured from that pipe and stored in a big tank for later. Wealth is what you own, your assets, your investments. It's not just what you earn. All right, so now that we've got the definitions down, let's look at the actual numbers for the US. And I gotta be honest with you, this data it's pretty staggering. It really shows just how wide this gap is for the average person. So according to the US Census Bureau, the median household income is sitting around $75,000. I mean, for a lot of people, that sounds pretty solid, you know? A good foundation to start building a secure life, right? Okay, but here's where things start to get a little weird. For households in their prime earning years, that's ages 35 to 44, the median net worth is only about $135,000. Just let that sink in for a second. After years and years of working, that's what the average household has actually managed to hang on to. And boom, this chart just lays it all out there. By their late 40s, a person could have earned over $2 million in their lifetime, and yet their median net worth is less than $250,000. So the big question is, where did all that other money go? So what's going on here? If people are earning literally millions of dollars over their lifetime, why isn't it sticking around as wealth? Well, the answer comes down to a few really powerful forces that are working against us. And a lot of the time, we don't even realize it. Well, it usually boils down to 3 big culprits: lifestyle inflation, something I call the debt illusion, and the all-too-human trap of social comparison. Let's break each of these down. Okay, first up, lifestyle inflation. It's so simple. As we make more money, we tend to spend more money. A nicer car, a bigger apartment, eating out more often. It feels totally normal, but the hidden cost is absolutely insane. Look at this, a seemingly small $500 a month increase in your lifestyle. If you invested that instead, it could grow to over $600,000 in 30 years. Wow. One lifestyle upgrade could literally cost you over $500,000 in future wealth. All right, next up is what I call the debt illusion, and this one's sneaky. Credit cards and loans let us look wealthy long before we actually are, but your net worth, it doesn't lie. The formula is simple and it can be brutal. It's what you own minus what you owe. You might be making a great salary and driving a nice car, but if your liabilities, student loans, credit card debt, are really high, your net worth could actually be 0 or even negative. And finally, social comparison. Oh man, this is a huge one. As humans, we're just wired to compare ourselves to the people around us. We see our friends buying new houses, our neighbors getting new cars, and we feel this intense pressure to keep up. So we end up making financial choices to match our peer group instead of making choices that build towards our own future goals. Okay, so I know that sounds a little bleak, but here's the good news. This gap between income and wealth, it is not inevitable. There's a really clear, totally achievable path to turn your hard-earned income into real, lasting wealth. Let's get into how to do it. The single most powerful tool you have for building wealth is time. This chart says everything. If you invest $500 a month for 30 years, you could end up with over $500,000. But if you wait just 10 years to start, you end up with less than half of that. Think about that. You lose over $300,000, not because you earned less, but simply because you started later. And that right there highlights the most dangerous financial trap of all. It's that little voice that says, I'll start saving and investing for real when I get my next promotion, when I'm making more money. The problem is, our habits get set in stone. If you don't build the discipline of saving when you make 50 grand, you're probably not going to magically start when you make 90 grand. The problem isn't your income, it's your identity.
So what can you do, like right now? Here are 3 super practical actions. First, start tracking your net worth. That is your real scoreboard, not your salary. Second, set a non-negotiable floor for investing, let's say 15% of your income, and make it automatic. Your lifestyle then has to adjust around that, not the other way around. And third, shift your whole focus from earning income to owning assets, things that can grow and make money for you over time.
And this brings us to the final, and honestly, the most important shift in thinking. If you really want to close the gap between your income and your wealth, you have to completely change the game you're playing. You have to change the fundamental question you're asking yourself. For our entire lives, we've been programmed to focus on one question. How much do you make? It's how our society measures success. But here's the thing. We've been asking the wrong question. Your income isn't the goal, it's just the tool. This is the question that builds wealth. Because your income stops the day you stop working. But what you own, your assets, your investments, that can keep growing and supporting you for the rest of your life. The moment you shift your focus from making to owning, you stop chasing status and you start building real freedom. And trust me, that changes everything.